Hello, Knights fans, and welcome inside the Naimoli Family Baseball Complex for another edition of the Knights Baseball Roundup, edition number 13, lucky number 13. I'm with Gary Puccio, the FDU baseball coach. How you doing, Gary? It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, Ryan, yeah, nice day out.
It's a beautiful day to do the Knights Baseball Roundup. Thank you for watching, and let's quickly get our alumni question of the week underway. This one comes from Joe Huffman.
Yep, and he just said he was unable to make the alumni event this past weekend, which went very well, and that he just wanted to know what future alumni events coming up. We are planning a massive alumni day with an alumni game for the fall. Probably the second weekend of October is the tentative date right now. More details will follow as time goes on. I know we had an issue last year with the alumni game being canceled, so we're going to try to make this bigger and better than it's ever been before.
All right, excellent. And obviously check FDUKnights.com for updates as we go through the summer and the fall as we get closer to that alumni game. We are down to one final series upcoming against Mount St. Mary's on the road. We just had 4 games here against Bryant. Now, Bryant is the top team in the NEC coming in. They also are the 33rd best team in the country, as you told me just before the show. And they came in here and they, kind of they flexed their muscles a little bit. Now let's talk about...
To put it nicely.
Yeah, I mean, they looked impressive. On Friday, I believe Kevin McAvoy held the offense to 5 singles. This is a very good performance. But we saw 6 pitchers. So give me your thoughts on some of the pitchers. I know they didn't have the greatest day. It was 11 walks between the 6. Just give me some of your thoughts on the opening day of the series.
Yeah, we kind of, when you're playing the top team in the league and a team that's 33rd in the country, you got to bring your A game. And not only didn't we bring our A game, we brought our D to F game. Walking 11 guy, I believe we out-hit them actually for the day, if I remember right. And, we walked 11 and hit a couple. You just, that's not Division I baseball. It was absolutely criminal the way we played that day. Probably our worst performance of the year. And a bad time to have it against a good team. And McAvoy's just, he's just an incredible pitcher. I'm a big fan of his. I think he's just outstanding, and comes from the Albany area, friends with some of our guys, and just a Albany or Syracuse, I'm not even sure, but just a class act and an outstanding ball player.
Excellent. And Anthony Calise in that game, he tied the record for appearances, and then we go into Saturday, the game 1, he broke the record. Now let's kind of lump the 2 games together, the 7-inning games. Now the freshmen in the offensive league, they went 6 for 8 that day. They've been steadily improving all season long, and we'll get to them in a second. But give me some thoughts about Calise breaking the record, how he reacted to that, how he was in the dugout, how the players kind of treated it, and tell me about some of the silver linings with the offense.
Yeah, Anthony's been a mainstay for me since the day I got here. I mean, I'm a big bullpen guy, as I've talked about, and before they're done, they're probably going to finish 1, 2, and 3 in appearances all time. And it was pretty nice to watch Anthony become the all-time appearance leader at FDU, pitching in more games than anyone in history. And he's still only a junior, so you're looking at probably the first 100 appearance player pitcher-wise in FDU history, which would be pretty special too. But he's just a great kid. He never says he's not ready to pitch. I mean, I pitched him Friday. I pitched him both games on Saturday. In the second game, he had nothing. It was, really pushing the cart on that one. My fault totally. But that's one thing that I've always liked about him is he's one of those kids that always says, "Give me the ball."
Was he being humble? Was he excited? Were his teammates excited for him?
Yeah, I mean, him being on the program guide helped. I know his mom came over to me and said what a great day it was for them. So I know the family was very happy, and kid deserves it. He's a well-liked kid on the team, very popular, and just a trooper for us. So very happy for him.
Now, I wanted to talk about some of the freshmen, some of the underclassmen performances. Before we get to the offense, Joe Flack started arguably his worst start of the season. Do you think it's just fatigue setting in toward the end of the season? Do you think it's the Bryant offense? And I do want to mention that he does lead the team with an innings pitched 50 already. So give me some thoughts about Joe and his performance this far.
Yeah, part of that is as a freshman, your high school season, you play 20 to 25 games. So maybe he's pitching 8 times all year in high school, and again, they're 7-inning games. So he'd have to pitch every inning of every game in high school to get to 50-something innings. So he's definitely reaching numbers that are foreign to him for the first time. And that's typical with freshmen. I mean, we had the same thing with Logan and Nick Cunha last year. They both pitched a little over 50 innings, and fatigue definitely sets in a little bit. I think it's a combination of fatigue and also, he's facing a very good team, and they hit him. And, you're not going to get away with mistake pitches against a good team the way you will against some other teams. He had pitched 6 straight performances of 3 earned runs or less and had 1 win to show for it. So the kid's definitely been a hard luck pitcher for us. But you got to be excited about him. You got to be excited about his future. He's a great kid. He gives you 100%. And as you were saying with the other freshmen, too, I mean, I think our freshman class has played very well this year.
Yeah, absolutely. The statistics show it. I know that I started the season a little bit struggling, Matt McCann especially, but really turning it up as of late. Zach Tondi in conference play batting over 300. Matt McCann in conference play, I believe he's around 268, but only 1 caught stealing. I think he's 7 of 8 steal attempts. Great plays in the field, and as I said on Saturday, the 2 of them combined to go 4 for 6, and over the weekend they went 6 for 8. So tell me, I mean, that's a tough Bryant team, and you got some of the upperclassmen struggling a little bit, but the freshmen got to be impressive.
Yeah, early in the season, I remember Matt McCann had 4 RBI game where he also had a 3-error game, and I remember benching him the next day and talking to him about it and saying that you're playing for your defense. We need you to play solid defense at shortstop. And at the time, I think he had 10 or 11 errors for the season, and we were maybe 15 games into the season. And now, at 40 games into the season, he's got 13 errors. So his play the second half of the season has been outstanding, and his batting average has been climbing at an incredible rate. He's probably been our best hitter the second half of the season. The kid's had a terrific second half, and I said this from the day we recruited him. This kid's going to make his mark here. He's an outstanding defensive player. He's a trooper. He gives you 100%. He's one of the first guys on the field every day. He's always taking extra work, always making himself better. So we're big Matt McCann fans.
I mean, it's shown. Definitely seen him. I mean, right in the background, he's out here, just practicing on his own. Okay, so the result didn't go the way you wanted this weekend. You head into Mount St. Mary's. What do you want to see from your team in the last weekend heading into the offseason? What do you want to impress upon them?
Before I get to Mount, let me just also mention Zach, because you did mention Zach, and I kind of left him out, and I didn't mean to. Zach is still throwing out runners at somewhere near 60-something percent, 64% I believe he's at. That is a just absolutely incredible rate for a catcher to throw out runners stealing, and he's been an outstanding contributor both offensively and defensively. He's hitting over 300, as you said, in the conference, and he's had one heck of a year for a freshman. And him behind the plate, only good things are going to keep happening, because teams tried to run us early. He would throw people out and just stop their running game, and that was a big plus for us this year to be more competitive.
But before we get to the question I asked you, I had thought of something as well. You had mentioned before the show, you said that, despite their impressive performances at the plate, you said that they don't really have a, scouting report on these guys yet, and that could attribute to their successes. But can it also be, as they're going from out of conference to tougher competition, you got to also factor that in, as well, don't you?
Yeah, when you're a freshman, people don't really know who you are yet. And all the teams, especially conference play, we all keep books on everybody. We all keep books on every player. We all keep statistical charts on where they hit the ball and stuff. So you're only first establishing that the first year. So a lot of times a freshman will have a little more success early on in his career because the teams don't know him yet. And then as they get to know him, they try to find his weaknesses and pitch to that. That's why even in the major leagues, they call it the sophomore jinx. And I've always believed the sophomore jinx has to do with the fact that you're now a player they have statistics on and they have charts on and information on, and that helps hurt your performance a little bit. I also think what you said, that the length of the season and everything, all of that plays a factor, the level of talent, who you're playing. It's all part of it. But overall, I always tell freshmen, you hit 250, you've had a good year, and both Matt and Zach are well over the 250 mark.
Yeah, absolutely. And okay, I mean, as you said before the show, you said it's all about next year, seeing how they can react to teams adjusting to them after getting to know them. So my last question is just, what are you trying to impart on your team this final series coming up at Mount St. Mary's?
Well, I think it's important to try to end on a good note. And, we've lost 7 in a row since we blew that game at LIU, and we just haven't recovered, which, is like falling off a cliff. And unfortunately, I think that's part of being young too. That we really don't have any seniors, and Riley's the only junior that starts every day, position player wise. So that's all a factor that we just never regrouped and recovered. So hopefully this weekend, at least we go out winning a couple of games. I mean, that's my goal, is to try to go down there and split the series and build on that for next year, and hope that the kids leave here with a little positiveness.
All right, excellent. Next week we will have the season wrap edition of Knights Baseball Roundup. Made it all the way to 14.
I don't know, man.
All right, well, thank you for watching us all season long, and I'm not the only clean-shaven person on the show. We're gonna have Anthony Calise, who's pretty shorn as well, looks like, with Corbin Gapski right after the break. And
he's very upset. He's been waiting to go eat.
I know, I haven't either, so it's lunchtime. So let's get this going. Corbin is with Calise right after this. Thank you for watching again, Knights fans. FDKnights.com and at FDKnights on Twitter. Thank you for watching this week.
Do this. Hey, thank you, Ryan. And hey, Ryan, I want to say, fresh look, man. I really like it a lot. Welcome, Knights fan, to this half Knights Baseball Roundup. I'm joined here today with junior Anthony Calise. Anthony, I had to have you on the show today because this past weekend against Bryant, you broke the all-time record for appearances by a Knights pitcher, and you're only a junior, so you still have a whole other season. And let's talk about that. It was Saturday. It was Alumni Day here at the Nymoli Family Baseball Complex. So I want to know all the emotions that were going through your head, running to the mound. The alumni were here. Your whole family was here. I saw them here. So just tell me about that whole experience, and everyone watching at home, they want to know what you're thinking.
Right. It was definitely a good experience. I mean, it's been talked about since freshman year and then sophomore year, and now junior year. We knew it was probably going to happen this year. So it's been talked about. It was real good to get it over with and have a good appearance. I mean, I think things went well. In the bullpen, it was kind of exciting. You get the butterflies in your stomach. But then once you're on the mound, it's basically just another appearance until it's over with. And then it's move on from there and got to work and get ready for next year, get ready for the end of this year, and hopefully bring that record higher.
Absolutely. And one of your classmates, Eric Snyder, he's now the leader in saves for the Knights, and now you're the leader in appearances, and those are two totally different stats. Now, when I look at your stat, though, for most appearances, that's 81 now, passing Spencer Kelly. I think you're at 82 or 83 now, so you're even moving yourself even further apart from him. But when I look at that stat, I look at it as you're a reliable pitcher, you're a dependable player. There's been some injuries in the past from other players, but ever since your freshman year, 2012, you've been a mainstay for the bullpen for you. So just tell me what this really record means to you and what it symbolizes for you.
It shows that I could work hard, and if I want to get something, I could go after it. Keeping healthy was the challenge. Throwing 3 or 4 times a week, even 5 times a week. Sometimes if we had a midweek game. But it's fun. It's definitely cool to be used as much as I was. And it's good to help the Knights when we are in maybe a struggling situation where we need to stop the bleeding a little bit, or if we're up 1 run in the bottom of the 7th and I need to get 3 outs and pass the baton along to Yona and Eric. So it's challenging, it's fun, it's drooling, but you just got to work through the injuries, work through the kinks, get a massage now and then from Jimmy or something. But it's fun. It's definitely real fun.
Now, you mentioned Yona, you mentioned Eric, 7, 8, 9, and Coach Puccio has been using you guys since your freshman year on that, and loves going to you guys for that. So you're also housemates with Eric and Yona and even Ryan McDonald. So I want to know, you guys can't be all on your game at the same time. So when one of you guys is struggling, what kind of things you guys say to each other, or a word of advice, or just help your teammate or your housemate get through a tough time?
You just got to stay positive. Yona's out there, so I mean you gotta work the kinks out of Yona a little bit, but we always just try to stay positive with each other and tell each other that there's going to be more appearances, there's going to be more opportunities to get the job done if you didn't get the job done in the past. So we kind of just really try to stay positive with each other. Sometimes we'll joke around if one of us got hit up a little bit, but then that's just kind of get some fresh air in there and clear things out for the next day and possibly 2 days after that. So.
Now, my final question for you is, we're going to stick with baseball a little bit, but we're going to talk about your plans for the future. We're both sports administration majors here at Fairleigh Dickinson University, and you mentioned multiple times that you want to be a coach someday. So I want to kind of know what your coaching style is. Is it any different from Coach Puccio's style of coaching? Are you a coach that likes to steal a lot, bunting? Like, what kind of coach are you?
Yeah, I'm definitely an aggressive coach. I see the game is moving a little faster nowadays, so I think stealing a lot and bunting is definitely a big key. I mean, we try to do that a lot here, but sometimes we don't get the job done. Sometimes we do, and we just work at it each day. But yeah, I definitely like to be aggressive a little bit, try to get things a little faster pace. I know when I played, things weren't really like that, but now they're moving towards that, so I think I'm going to jump on board with that.
And you mentioned that you're going to be in Cooperstown this summer, where I'm going to be for my internship. You said like mid-July you're going to be down there, so I can be able to scout you, see what kind of coaching style you really have. If you're one of those tough coaches or a little bit laid back, we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, we'll see. I know. When things go wrong, sometimes it's hard to stay calm, but I'll try my best at that. I know I don't really like when things go wrong, so I'll have to work hard at that.
Let the kids play,
Yeah.
like they say, right?
Yeah.
So, Anthony, I never got to congratulate you on winning the appearance record, so congratulations, Anthony. And I'm so happy that I was able to interview you today.
Thank you. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you so much. And then once more, that is junior Anthony Calise, your reliever for the Knights, breaking the record for most appearances by a Knights pitcher. He's only a junior, so it's only up from here, and he's only going to be separating himself even more from that. But make sure to watch the Knights Baseball Roundup every single week with Ryan Uhlich and Gary Puccio, the head coach of your Knights. Make sure to go to FDUKnights.com to get all your updates, videos, and stats of all FDU baseball and all FDU athletics. I'm Corbin Gapski from FDUKnights.com. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week for the final edition of the Knights Baseball Roundup.